In this live coding session, we TDD new behavior on a SwiftUI button. And to do that, I first make it easy to write the test by cleaning up some code, all the test code, to make it easier to write the new test. This is following a tidy first principle. And then we write the test, we get it to pass. Unfortunately, things don't work. The tests pass, but the app, when I check it, seems to be broken. I don't know why at the moment. I'll address that in the next session. But in the meantime, we've made good forward progress. So enjoy this TDD with SwiftUI. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Another 90 minutes or so of live coding with me, John Reed. Wrote that. Find me here. Like, seriously. If you're in Mastodon or Blue Sky or on YouTube or what else we got? Well, Twitch. Twitch folks are already here, a few of them. Hello, Mudshark. And LinkedIn. I'm active in all those places, and my website, of course. And yeah, so folks who are new, hey Garbob, welcome. I think Europe still has the US is still up on daylight savings time shift before Europe for one more week, I think. So still a little skinny on the viewership from folks over there, but hey, we'll get there. Then we'll all be back in sync again. Hope you are well. We are doing we are doing test-driven development, TDD in a SwiftUI world. And I went through and did some curating of the discovery tree, now trees, plural. Why trees, plural? Because the tree was too damn big. And what I discovered was that there were multiple sections. This is the project setup work. And that all hangs together. And this is the simplest game. That is, there was only one thing to guess, and and only one option for guessing, and then we increased that to play a game with a secret length of 2. So these are very much under the simplest games front. And now we're working on more complex games, specifically on getting feedback. I guess feedback will help us get to the next round. Maybe feedback is a whole tree of itself, but it'll get us to the next round of rounds, playing multiple turns. So all these different trees seem to be big stories. I guess in most places you would call these epics, collections of stories. And they seem to work well that way. So that's a discovery for me with regard to discovery trees, is basically make one for a collection, a cohesive collection of stories that you're working on. Hopefully it's cohesive. Otherwise, why are you working on rando things? And if you are working on completely random things unconnected to each other, then you're not actually working together, are you? Working together is key. I say as I code by myself. I'm not coding by myself. I have you. For folks who are watching after the fact, welcome. On Twitch, give me a follow. On YouTube, subscribe so you get more of this stuff. And as we go, if this is in any way interesting, give it a like. Here's what we did last time. We had more discussion about TCR. that is test and commit or revert, a form of TDD. And it's good. I'm glad when people ask questions about, what is this thing? Let's see. Oh yeah. Wanted to extract a subview. I wanted to do it with Xcode's automated help, but that requires a canvas and that requires a preview. So that was interesting to learn that. Don't debate code ideas, try them. Then debate the code. This is a common set of moves that anyone who I think it does refactoring has seen or done this, which is I want to extract this function, but I need to pull out the thing that is the variables so that I can vary them. So first extract variable, then extract the function, then inline the variable. And a lot of stuff was Copilot powered in the last section. What are we going to do today? We are continuing to work on getting feedback about our guests. Mastermind is like the proto-Wordle, using colors instead of letters. Let's see. Let's look at it from the top to get some context. We want feedback. We want the check guest button to do. We haven't done anything with that. Show feedback about the guests. We've got some stuff in play for that. Where is our feedback view? Come on up. Preview. Canvas thing. Is the canvas used for other stuff besides previews? I keep wondering, why don't they call it? Why the distinction between canvas and preview? I don't know. I mean, the canvas shows the rendered preview, but I suppose it could show other things. And maybe that's why they separated the naming. Still working on it. Okay, there we have it. There it is. 1 in the correct position, 2 in correct colors in the wrong position, and 1 left over out of a guess of 4. Now, if we come over to where this is used, the game screen, let's see what we have here. Okay, so we've SpriteKit. Oh, okay. Thanks, Garbop. I've never worked in SpriteKit. I feel like SpriteKit would be a lot of fun because it takes me back. The whole notion of sprites takes me back to my youth, and specifically to the Amiga, the Commodore Amiga, that I had. I still have one upstairs. The clock, the battery is probably dead, and so the clock is probably out of whack, and I keep thinking someday I want to get it down from the attic and get the battery replaced so that it can work again. On the other hand, I suppose the other way to do it would be to get one of these new Amigas that have other things like USB and HDMI all built in. So we've got our feedback view right there in line with the place to guess. These are the things from which to guess. So let's look at what we have. Show feedback as colored pegs. Duplication. Yeah, there was some duplication, which we addressed. But maybe there's more. Let's go back. And we did do the extract view of that. Yeah, there's some duplication here. I don't know what to do about this. I mean, is this where we do the grid item instead? So that we can go 0 to 3? And how would it lay itself out? I'm not sure. Is that what you're thinking, Mudshark? So that's one thing we could do. Excuse. Yeah, I think I'd like to wire it up before we do anything else with it. This is pretty good. Obviously, there's still duplication in here, and it's not flexible. Like it, you know, it sort of takes us from a world where we were like, how big is the secret? How many choices do you have? It's flexible to there are 4. So it's kind of an oddity, but I think it's okay for now. So what else do we have? Oh, we've got a law of Demeter violation. Probably ought to look at that real quick. But the main thing that I don't see on here is we need the check button to fire to update the feedback. Like that is a must-have. So let me just stick that in there so we don't lose that idea. Okay, I'm getting real persnickety about these lines here. Never mind. Let's take a quick look at this, because I want to see how bad it is. By the way, I'm now using Xcode 16.3 Beta 2. Just installed that. And if we have a bookmark, that's not the bookmarks, bookmark. Oh. Game secret initial feedback pegs. I don't think I want to deal with this yet until we get it all working. So let's pull that out. Either that or bring this down in. I'm going to set this back to do. And reparent this one. I think this is the main beast to work on. Is that the check button tap updates feedback. Because that would be cool. And I'm actually wondering about something. One of the challenges, I think, is going to be that our feedback The feedback view just takes, this is not updating at all. So it looks fine right now because it's static, but we're going to need this to update. So let's have a go. Hello, a few more folks have joined. Welcome. Glad to have you. Feel free to ask questions as we go. So the check button has no action. We want to put something in there. We want to say, hey, somebody upstairs, it's time to update the feedback. How do we do that? How do we communicate up from here? Where is this? This is in the game screen. I suppose what we could do is add a closure at this level to then take the feedback, the feedback pegs, oops, sorry, and say, we want to update those not from initial feedback but to the based on the guess. I think that's what I would like to do. How to do this test driven. Let's see what we can do. Where do I want it? I'd like the tests to tell a story. Displays code choices bottom up, showing game screen sets the game secret. The initial color guess is unselected. Tapping a code choice sets guess colors. The check button there's the check button. So I feel like we ought to play around there. Check button is initially disabled, enables when the guess is filled. So I think that's where I want to go, right here. And what do I want it to be? Oop, wrong type of test. Exe test. I want check tapping check button updates feedback. Ultimately. How do we do that? I don't know. Yeah, you're thinking ahead again, Mudshark, to the concept of multiple rounds, and we don't have a round yet. That doesn't exist. At some point, of course, it will. So let's try to follow Llewellyn Falco's technique of see if we can describe the test. And so this would be set up game with for hey Eric, glad you could join. Set up game with for choices, make tap for tap to fill for guesses. So this is all still set up. And then tap check button. When that happens, I would like to be able to peer into the feedback. I wonder what we can see in here. Actually, before we deal with the feedback, I want to maybe make sure we're updating the feedback pegs over in the game screen. And that's private. Do I already have a test hook for that? I don't think so. But that's what I imagine, is that we could use an empty feedback to draw before the guess is checked. One static feedback with only empty pegs. Oh, right. Sort of you want like a before and after view. I like that. Yeah. I think that makes good sense. Before and after is a powerful technique. Do we want to look at the pegs, or do we want to look the pegs? Okay, how to do this? The pegs are the ultimate behavior we want, and the implementation, whatever. But to get there, I feel like I want to. Well, no. Let's start with testing that. It feels useful to be able to test that. So initial feedback pegs are empty. Let's do that. Now, we don't need a changing view for this. We should just be able to make the game and the SUT. Eyeing this duplication here. Duplication all over the place. All right. Let's make it easier to make the change. Let's see. I want to review how make game just pipes right into the SUT here. Same but unused. And make game takes parameters, but how to do this? I feel like there needs to be. I want to extract something. Let's see if there's any versions of make game that. No, that's it. Nothing that takes parameters. So why don't we make a make SUT? I think rather than trying to extract it automatically, it'll work better to do this manually. Yeah. Yes. Cannot use instance member make game as a default parameter. Boo. There are times it gets annoying. Fine. Just paste that in and return it. Fix up the compilation error, and I don't want to lose anything. Nothing is calling this, so if I just run my tests, so I don't lose this work so far, and whoop, there we go. This is test only changes for game screen. Now we should be able to use that. Unless, oh, game, this is why. I interact with both the game and the screen. That's why they're separate. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Huh. What do I want to do here? Return them both? That feels funny because that's what's the system under test. Now I don't know what to do. Like what? Yeah, return a tuple. It seems like make game is what you want across all the tests in this suite. It can be initialized on the level of the suite and reused in all tests where needed. Possible. However, there is a practice that I am trying, and that is avoiding setup and teardown. Will tests be cleaner if we always use helpers instead? So this was a question. I wonder if we've hit a point where now it's like, yeah, I'm no longer sure that that works as well. What do you think? It is tempting, very tempting to me to move this into setup. And yet, the whole reason let's think about the reason for this. The question is, will tests be cleaner? The problem that setup and teardown creates is you end up with stuff that's like, it's used across all these tests. Oh, wait, but not in this new test. I want things to be a little different. The world of Quick and Nimble solves this with context. You set up a different context and say, all the tests inside of here are going to use basically this setup, and all the tests over here are going to use a different setup. I'm starting to feel the edge of this. If you have any thoughts, let me know. But otherwise, I am feeling a little bound. by the constant repetition of this. Let's break the rule. Yeah, good point, Eric. I see, but at the same time, we're not limited to one suite, and I have done that. I'll be like, okay, I need a different suite with its own set of rules. So what if we do that? Oh dear. What was the solution here? And I'm not sure, because I'm using a new version of Xcode, I'm not sure if this is a new warning or the same as the existing warnings. Let's go into my blog. This is it. Changing the test to main actor, that exists. I wonder. Bear with me a second. I want to see this in different version of Xcode, and I'm afraid of having two versions open at the same time. I'm going to close this. Oh no. Forget it. Not happening. Not with you here. So yeah, I thought I'd already jumped through all these hoops to learn how to do this, but maybe Xcode, do you need an explicit setup teardown? Because game can throw. I mean, it is, I'm not sure what you mean. It is pretty explicit. It is a setup that can throw, and async. I mean, what happens? Yeah, that's right. These have to go together. You know what? I'll look into this later. Let's keep. I hate adding warnings. Let's look at this. Oh, wait. I remember this. We'll say it is sendable. Damn it. That's it. Oh, maybe I created this in the past. I think right now, if I create a new test suite, let's just make foo tests. Okay, So this is just a matter of my template is more up to date, but my code was created before I discovered these things. So, phew, I'm relieved. So there's the trick. And let's note this in the learnings. If you can go ahead and just make your thing, your class, sendable. It seems kind of funny because look at that. How sendable is that? It doesn't seem very, but I'm just trying to get the damn compiler to let me through. There are times when, even after all these years, I miss the completely dynamic nature of Objective-C, where it's like, whatever, you can talk to anything, you can send anything, any message. If you shoot yourself in the foot, stop shooting yourself in the foot. All right, let's roll with this. Move. So now we should be able to get rid of these. If I do that, that should even that. Let me be kind of bold. Pretty bold doing all this. But I feel confident. If it comes back to bite me, then I will. Oh, here's one that's different. Oh, that's maybe okay. It's disabled anyway. All right, use game fixture, which changes make game into make SUT, doesn't it? No, not make game. Make the game screen with the game. Where was that? This one. So I am on an M1, classic M1, but I maxed out the memory. So I've got 64 gig and so the memory counts more than anything in terms of disk swapping. You know, running out of memory, you've got to still be able to work. So if you don't run out of memory and you don't write stuff to disk and read it back in, yeah. It's a great way to sell new machines. Oh, good question, Mud Shark. All right, so I do think that we need game screen. This may look silly, but I want things to look. I like the pattern of make SUT that we've discovered elsewhere. So for example, here, actually throughout, I should be able, let's just try it in a big step. Oh, you only have 16 gig. Yeah. So I work without the debugger. I typically leave the debugger off in both running. I might leave this one on, but no, not when it's my project. And definitely in testing. And that might help you because the debugger itself is slow. And I'm sure it takes up memory as well. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, you are in a different world. Let's try doing this and see if it works. Oop, not that one. That's the one place I don't want it to do it. Needs to be throwing. Does it? No, it doesn't. All right, this is sanitizing. This is doing cleanup before we add to the mess. And I want to note that when do you refactor? And it depends. Sometimes before, sometimes after. For example, the law of Demeter violation, we have here, this dot, dot, dot. I want to clean that up, but it's more important to keep it working first before I sort out how to work this. I need to get Kent's book. Absolutely. And I love that tidy first question mark, that the title is a question, that in general, all things being equal, our default go-to should be to tidy first. And there are reasons to put it off. But in general, before making the change, and we are just trying to write new tests, we're trying to TDD something. I don't want those tests to continue to repeat the patterns we see that it's like, this can be better. All right. And that feels a lot better. So now let's come back here. We also found that avoiding setup is nice until it's not. How's that? Okay, now what I want to do is check the outcome. Let me mark this as, write it in a comment first. Check that feedback pegs are all unselected. are all unselected color. How's that? It's really weird. It's bogus. Let's take a look at feedback view tests and see what we have here. So here we have a way to get the peg color. That's what we want. So let's copy this over. Except I'm going to rename it feedback peg color. And let's see if we can't just get this to work. So this will be, I need to make a, no, I don't need to make anything. The SCT is the game screen. It's already got what we need. I should be able, but I need it to be inspectable. Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm going all over the place here. There we go. I can do something like this. One of the nice things about building up tests is you start to develop patterns, and you can look at other things and say, I think I can just copy these. This idea worked well in this situation, and let's do more of that. Let's move in small steps, John. Before I proceed, I want to make sure I don't lose what I have with TCR. So now if I say feedback peg color, I think I'm okay just testing the first peg. And this will be how'd I do it? Like that. Let's see if this passes. Reverted. Yeah. What happened? Okay. Starting from here, the And following the patterns of TDD that we've found with View Inspector, the first thing I want to do is SUT. Let's move in small steps. That's a small step. That the feedback. So the question is, will this find the right one? Or am I even looking at the right thing? Let's see. Oh, peg color 1. Yeah. I'm using human-based one-based indices, and that's threw me off there because feedback peg color 0, I think this will fail and revert. Yep. So, so now should be able to see this pass. Okay. Complete test of initial feedback pegs. Okay. One of the things that I was worried about, but I kind of forgot about, was how are we going to access the feedback peg color if it is, you know, inside of here, and this is a private struct and so forth. Silly John, very silly to forget that accessibility identifiers are the key to being able to find stuff. And later on, we're going to have to change this. We don't have any concept of rounds yet. And this is going to be like, this should be feedback for the first round, as opposed to the second round, and so forth. But carrying on, now we should be able to get at this test. Changing game with 4 choices. Okay. I don't want to lose this, so I'm going to bring this back into play. Normally, with test-driven development, I would start by writing the assertion first and working backwards. With TCR, I feel the pressure to go the other direction. But asking the question is still valuable. What do we assert? So let's write it up as comments. Do we assert that the feedback is empty before tapping the check and it changes after? I feel okay testing it here. Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. It sort of depends on how the setup goes. Let's find out. Good question. A very, very good question. Here is an example. Yeah, there is no guess. Here is an example of feedback. Correct, misplaced, misplaced, unselected. Let me copy these. I think we need 4. I almost want more choices here. I would love to be able to just have this assertion in place, because it would be copying exactly what we have here, and I don't need to test how all this works. I just want to test that it updates. More comments. This is a TCR cheat, isn't it? I want to note this. Oh, very good idea, Mudshark. We've already done this. We don't need to, yeah, you're right. I don't need to test them all. I just need to test that it changes at all. Thank you. Great. A lot of commented out code. Okay. So this doesn't matter. Let's start at the top and set up a changing game with 4 choices. How do we do that? Like this. Oh, and this is kind of exactly what we want, that the check button is enabled. We're making 4 taps. I think I can copy all this, but we don't need the is enabled part. Here we go. 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 Boom. Goodbye to is enabled. Goodbye to is enabled. This will pass. that when we do this, the feedback color should change. Okay. So the feedback color this needs to become a var. Like that. Why so slow? Hello, Xcode, where'd you go? You crashed. You crashed? But why? Okay, moving in small steps. Why? Oh, this was wrong. It's not the SUT inspect. It's now, I'm inside of a changing view. The SUT gets passed in, but now I need to talk to the view. Thank you. There we go. Goes away. Okay. I think we're to the point where we have what we want. This is clean out. This will fail, I believe. It did. Saying unselected. We got unselected. And it wasn't changed to correct. I think we finally made it to our failing test. Hooray! Remember, when you're doing TDD, to celebrate getting to the failing test, that's often the hardest part. Oh, I forgot to tap the check button. Crap. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Where's that check button? All right. View check button tap. That's it. Thank you for that. I was totally missing the actual important part. And now just to confirm that this still fails. As expected. Let's clear out. There's clear all issues. Hey, opacity 0. Coming in with an insult. Maybe it's not insulting. I thought you said so unattractive. I apologize. Or I was just going to playfully bite you for biting me, and then I realized, no, you said I'm attractive. Well, thank you. It's because you go for old guys? Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Didn't I just clear this out? Oh, it's written to but not read. Okay, yeah. All right. So now the check button needs to do something. Hooray! Let's get back here and deal with the check button. There it is. I would like to pass in a closure so that the check button doesn't have to do some weird communication all the way back. Closures seem like a good way to avoid the passing game. Opacity 0 is also a funny handle. I like it. You can't be unattractive. You're completely invisible. Yeah, he's talking about how he, she, they are talking about how hot I am. So what I would like is something like this. Let's write the code we wish we could write. And it's probably going to complain all over the place. I mean, it already is. Cracking me up. Let's move in small steps. Where's my... Let's make smaller changes by fixing this up. How long have I been an iOS dev? 10 years? 15 years, possibly. Oh, programmer in general. I mean, I've been programming since I was a kid, professionally, long time. Before Swift. How about before Objective-C was the development language for macOS? How about that? Let's go to our check button and set up a closure to hit. Like, how's this going to work? Where do I even put it? I suppose I'd put it here. That just means I'm old. Oh, gotta fix up other things. That's all right. I don't mind. I can tell you, I've given talks about test-driven development where I start with my childhood experience of coding using punch cards in Fortran. Specifically, that my high school in Tokyo would collect, we had punch card machines, and they would collect your program, your stack of cards, and send it off to a company, NCR, National Cash Register, NCR, which no longer exists, downtown Tokyo, who generously offered to run our little programs over the weekend. And then you would get the feedback back a few days later, right? Once they ran them all and they got them back on Monday. That was the feedback cycle I had. Thanks. That is my Asian blood. That's what you're seeing. If I dyed my hair black, yeah, I could pass for a lot younger. You are very funny. All right, so this point, this should compile and do nothing, and I don't want to lose it. So let's, no. One more, huh? One of the fun things about punch cards, and one of the reasons they were fun, was outside of coding, we learned, hey, I instead of punching out like the letter, the punch card hollerith codes for the letter A when I type A, I can just say punch out this row and this row, or yeah, and this row, and I can make drawings out of the holes. So we did that. Okay, we are massaging this change through. Good. So this is a, I'm gonna say this is pretty low risk. Lego. Oh. Add unused action to check button. Web dev, I have not. Okay, here it is. Now can we, in here, do anything? Like, what's allowed? I don't know. Can I say, for example, let's say I just overwrite this with the exact same stuff. This isn't what we want. But I want to see, will the compiler scream at me? And it doesn't. Do I even need that? I think I need that. So, instead of the initial feedback, I now want to pass in a guess to evaluate. Where's this guess? There's the guess. This is looking pretty ugly. I am now a corporate drone. I've never been indie. Before my current job getting back into corporateness, I was working as a professional coach, technical coach, helping software teams. Cannot convert. This seems suspicious, sus to me. Look at me, kids. I'm a young person. I say sus, like probably from the 90s. I still have suspicions that this is not what we want, but I'd like to see if it works. There are no tests to check this, so I don't want to lose it. I'm going to run tests and say this is an feature rough stab at check button action. Mudshark. Who else do you follow, Mudshark? You're here, and there are other. Oh, so question: Opacity 0. Are you an iOS dev? I mean, you sound like one. Because if you are, there are not many iOS-oriented streamers I've found, but there are some. Eric is here, maybe still here. I'm not sure. Bill Wake. Those are two people. Yep. Follow Eric. Check him out. He's got good stuff. So I want to know, I don't have a test for this, and I don't think this will pass, but let's find out. I'm pretty sure this will not pass yet. But let's find out. Yeah, not surprised. But I would like to know, you're mostly web dev. Macs are expensive, for sure. Yep. But do check out Eric. Check out I don't think if Bill's not here, I don't think I can like tag him. Good people to follow on the streams. I want to see if this does anything. So let's. Well, it's definitely not going to do anything. The action's not even being called. Third world, you mean Not the ridiculous imperialist world we live in, which has become more ridiculous lately. Check button triggers action. It feels weird to me to be adding all these without the tests in place yet, but I really don't think the test is going to pass until I make a change over on the feedback view side. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I didn't think it would work. That was a surprise. I honestly thought feedback view would have to incorporate some binding. How is this working? Let's see it for real. And maybe it's not actually working. Maybe the test is passing. So we should be able to do this straight in the preview. Boot. Oh, so. Eh. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna run it. Where'd my ability to guess go? Where? Why? Oh no. It's been so long. How does this work? In the game screen, we tap the code choices, and that sets the guesses. Yes? But now it's broken? But the tests pass? What the heck? Uh-oh, wrong simulator. Oh dear. Something is fundamentally broken. And I'm about at time for this session. Well, poo. I kind of want to find out what's going on. Sorry, bouncing around. Place choice in next slot. Like, is this not working? What the heck? we do have a guard clause here. Okay, let's turn the debugger on and rerun. Took some time there to attach the debugger. I have no idea. Ooh, it's not responding. Okay. We are at time. That is where we are. The tests pass, but trying it for real gives me a sad. Anything else we observed? Oh, let's update this. This is sort of going to be our new color. I'm going to make this a the point of this color is that, ooh, it's not exactly blocked. We need to investigate it. But right now, if this were a project, I would want anybody walking by from developer to tester to executives, managers, to be able to go, okay, follow the orange. Whoa, there's a red there. Okay, there's a problem. So that everyone knows. That's the big issue right now, which we can overcome. Boo! I'm a bit sad. I was surprised that the test passed. I am surprised that everything passes. So I will not be at SwiftCraft again, Eric. Not this year. Boo. That makes me sad. I hope you're going. For folks who are over on the European side of things, do check out SwiftCraft. It's a great conference. Yeah, I won't be there, I'm afraid. Bummer. Anything else? Any other thoughts on our continuous retro? Going, gone. All right. So I will definitely try it with the previous version of Xcode, but I'll have to download all the stuff it needs. Now that I downloaded the beta, it kicks stuff out of the previous version. And do some investigation about why I can't tap those color options. Weird. Anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Folks who thanks for participating in the chat. Always fun, always good. Folks who are watching after the fact, if you've watched this far, give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow, whatever it is. Train your system and the algorithms to reward you for coming back, so that, hey, you catch this the next time. All right. This is kind of it. I'm looking back. Whoops. looking back over this, there are some interesting things we learned and tried and experienced, but oh, this bugs me. That makes me sad. But that's life. We're moving forward. Thanks for joining. I should see you next week. And next week, I think you folks in Europe will be back. Well, not back. You'll be shifting time to catch up with the US, which inexplicably changes time before you do. Whatever. I'm not expecting anything to change on that. The US is, our democracy is burning down right now. We've got bigger issues. So fight fascism and find joy. And I'll see you next week. Take care.